Revelation chapter 20 and verse 10. The devil who deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet were cast, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. You say, what part of forever and ever don't you understand? Well, I decided one day that I would go to the library, the theological library at Andrews University in Michigan, and I would look at what commentators have to say about the words forever. In Hebrew, the word is olam. And in Greek, the word is aion. And so I decided I would see what the experts in Hebrew and Greek had to say about these words that are used forever and ever. And I discovered something very interesting. These scholars say that forever means a long period of time whose end cannot be seen, but it does not mean that the period of time does not have an end. Allow me to read you some statements from some of these scholars so that you see what the expression forever means. And by the way, the version in Spanish, the Reina Valera of 1960, says, for centuries and centuries, actually, por los siglos de los siglos. Literally in Greek, it means for the ages of the ages. Now, let's read a statement by Alan McCrae. He was president and professor of Old Testament theology at the Biblical School of Theology in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. Notice what he had to say. The LXX, which is the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Old Testament, the Septuagint generally translates olam, that's the Hebrew word, by aion, that's the Greek word, which has essentially the same range of meaning. He's saying that olam and aion mean the same thing. Now notice this, that neither the Hebrew nor the Greek word itself contains the idea of endlessness. See, neither one of these words contains the idea of what? Endlessness, is shown both by the fact that they sometimes refer to events or conditions that occurred at a definite point in the past. In other words, they're not eternal because they had a point of beginning. And also by the fact that sometimes it is thought desirable to repeat the word, not merely saying forever, but forever and ever. Also, two other scholars, Moulton and Milligan, they are experts in Greek. Notice what they have to say. In general, the word aion, where you get the word forever from in the New Testament, in general, the word depicts that of which the horizon is not in view. In other words, the horizon is distant. Whether the horizon be at an infinite distance, or whether it lies no further than the span of Caesar's life. In other words, the word forever is used for the span of Caesar's life. But it's also used, especially with regards to God, in terms of eternal distance, that which has no end. But it refers to God. It's not referring to corruptible, created things. One further statement from Gerhard Kittel, who was the editor of the famous theological word book of the Old Testament. He had this to say. In the plural, aion, that's the word forever, the aion formulae, the meaning of aion merges into that of a long but limited stretch of time. So notice the word means a long but what? Limited stretch of time. In particular, aion, that's the word forever, in this sense signifies the time of duration of the world. So the word forever can mean the period of duration of this world. That is to say, time as limited by creation and conclusion. So the word forever can mean the time between creation and conclusion. He continues saying, at this point, we are confronted by the remarkable fact that in the Bible, the same word, aion, is used to indicate two things which are profoundly antithetical. Namely, the eternity of God, see, from God's perspective, the eternity of God and the duration of the world.